Hello, how are you doing today? So, this is a very nice day, and I want to talk to you about how African culture is making African students disadvantaged during the study abroad process. So, I'm African myself. Our African culture is wonderful, and it has many ingredients that have inculcated in African students many awesome values like respect for, especially for elders, respect for other people. But I'm not saying people from other races don't have respect for older adults or stuff. No, but as Africans, we are taught to show respect in a different format. For example, if I'm talking to somebody like my dad, I dare not look him eyeball to eyeball. Great? If I'm talking to my mom or I want to greet my mom, I may just kneel down, like there are different ways we express respect, and to us, that is respect. And this is our African culture, right? If you're writing to somebody, you want to be like, please, 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 can you just help me do this? I really want this. Like, if I'm from Ghana and I want to talk to somebody, an elder person, there will be a lot of please, please added to it, right? These are all part of our African culture and the way we've been enculturated, and there is nothing wrong with it. Now, the big problem comes in when an African student who has been groomed in Africa decides to study abroad. Before I tell you what the problem is, right, let me tell you what is also obtainable in our African educational system. And I'm generalizing here because I know that it is not going to be all African countries, but most of the African countries have this particular feature in common. During my undergraduate days in a university in Nigeria, which is my original country, right? If I have to talk to a lecturer, like I can't even just like walk up to a lecturer's office or email my lecturer. That was strange. So you wait for him to come to class, and maybe when he's going out, you follow him and you try to, and then he say, what do you want? Everything, because that is the culture and there's nothing wrong with it, right? You want admission, you beg for it, right? If you don't beg for it, you are proud. If you tell somebody why you are qualified, they'll be like, oh, you think because you are qualified, right? You won't even get the admission, right? You have to beg for it. If you see the gatesman in front of the university office, you have to greet him very well so that you can get admission. As I said, the big problem now comes in when an African student who has been enculturated with the African culture decides to go abroad to study. Why? Because in a lot of high-income countries, Canada, US, Germany, UK, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland, many countries, right? In a lot of high-income countries, the culture is different. The culture is not better. The culture is not worse. It is just what? Different. For example, the relationship between my supervisor and I, even though he's over 30 years higher than me, is as if I'm talking to my peers. So if I want something done, I'm going to say, hey John, can you do this? Right? Like, and I'm talking to my supervisor. That's the culture. That's the culture over here, right? Like, you talk to anybody, you call them by their first name. Nobody expects you to be begging for anything. They expect you to just say what you need, and if it is available, it's given to you. If it's not available, you'll be told that it's not available. It's as simple as that. So the culture is different. Now, part of the culture too is that somebody who is doing the opposite is seen as timid. What do I mean by the opposite? If you want to talk to your professor and you're like, professor, can I please? You'll be seen as timid. Instead of in Africa, you'll be seen as respectful. In abroad, you'll be seen as timid. Therefore, you are not the right candidate. You see the point? If you want to talk to your professor, you're saying, good morning, sir, how is your family, sir? The person is wondering that's abroad, right? Like, what's wrong with this one? Go straight to the point and let's know your problem and let's see if we can solve it, right? So there is a culture mismatch for an African groomed student. And this culture mismatch is seen differently. And the African student doesn't know that he or she is seen that this way. So why is this a problem? This is a problem because now when many African students decide to go abroad to study and they start communicating with the school, all the school see is this very incompetent student who is thinking of coming here to study. And because of that, other people who are not behaving like that, other people from other high income countries or from other culture where the culture is different, they will end up getting the slots, and the African students on the average we find it difficult to get the slots, right? We find it difficult to get the slot. Of course, I'm not generalizing, but I'm talking about what is obtainable for most African students, because like I myself, I was so lucky that at a very young age, first of all, my dad traveled around the world. My uncles are abroad, right? So it gave me at the very onset, even though I was growing up in Nigeria, I had that abroad, like the abroad culture in me. Then as soon as I hit my first travel abroad was when I was 7, and then as soon as I hit like I entered the university, I started funding my own trips, traveling abroad and all that. So currently I've traveled to 13 countries, right? No visa denial. So currently I've traveled to 13 countries. What does that tell you? I am well traveled. Yes, that's true. I'm not blowing I'm blowing my trumpet, because if I don't blow it, it's gonna go rust, right? You won't help me blow it. Anyways, the point is that I had the opportunity to get a bit of this culture. At the beginning, it was difficult. But as I traveled, I was able to inculcate the abroad culture. It's like when I'm in Nigeria, I know how to get things done in Nigeria. Because Nigeria is my country, right? So I'm talking to any African student or any student who is from a culture similar to that of Africa. That's who this video is meant for. So I had that opportunity to travel out, and I got that culture imbibed in me, and I know how to get the best from each of the culture. When I'm writing to a professor, say in the US, I know that I must sound professional. I must come straight to the point. I will write respectfully, but that respect will mean something different. It may just mean going straight to the point, not beating around the bush. It may just mean adding his title and putting his face name. It may just mean putting all the evidence, because I know he's not going to take me because my uncle, brother, mother, sister, uncle, cousin, nephew, cousin is his friend, right? He's going to take me because I'm either competent or I'm not. So I'm going to do things that will showcase my competence. If I'm writing to another professor in Nigeria, I will add some of those things to show my competence. But if his uncle, sister, brother, son, blah 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 is my nephew, I will have to mention it in the email, right? Or in the whatever I'm using to contact him. Because for Nigerians, that's going to form a bond. In abroad, that's going to be distasteful. Like they'll be wondering, like, why are you saying that? Even if my wife is your auntie, they won't expect to take you in because of that relationship. In fact, it becomes dicey for the person, right? So this culture mismatch that an African groomed student gets when they want to travel abroad is a huge disadvantage. Am I saying that the African culture is bad? No, I love my culture, right? So the only point I'm making right now is that, and as an African groomed student, right, the best thing you can do for yourself is not to change your culture. No, but it is to learn how to get the best when you are communicating with people abroad. And when we saw that this was a huge problem, we incorporated into our masterclass training that we do for students going abroad to study, graduates that are going for advanced studies abroad from any country. That if you're going to any high income country, US, UK, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, just call the name. You want to go to Poland, you want to go to Turkey to study, right? We handle all that. But we incorporated into our training the ability for this person to cope with things like communicating with the school, how to pass an interview abroad, right? How to pass an interview when you are discussing with a professor abroad, your graduate coordinator. We incorporated that training to make sure that our African students know what is expected of them. For example, something as simple as to look somebody into their eyes when they are talking to you. You can minimize. I'm from Nigeria, for example, right? A Yoruba person, we never talk to an elder, which is a tribe in Nigeria. We never talk to an elder looking them eyeball to eyeball. But just teaching this student that this is what is expected of you when you are contacting a professor abroad, or when you are doing an interview with a professor abroad, can be the only reason why that student is chosen. Like what will make the difference between that student getting that scholarship slot or admission slot and the student not getting it. Oftentimes, parents reach out to me and say, "Oh, my child is preparing for interview. Please, can you coach him or her?" Right? And a lot of times I have to coach them over the phone. As this thing went on, we decided to include it into our master class. I keep saying that when people take our master class in order to get admission and scholarship abroad, sometimes it may look in their mind like, but that scholarship or that admission, first, it's not even scholarship, but that admission, I can actually just get it. I can just pay an agent to help me get it. But you're shortchanging yourself, because there are many more things you need to know in order to be successful on this study abroad journey. There are many things you need to, and they are very, like, they are little. But you know what we do in our master class? We don't take anything for granted, because that small thing could just be the hindrance between you getting the admission, between you getting the scholarship, and you not getting it. Right? So we're not taking it for granted. Don't take it for granted. So the next time you think about paying somebody to go get you admission, let your second sense, or I think the sixth sense, let your sixth sense tell you that you are making the biggest mistake of your life. You are making the biggest mistake of your life, right? You can as well use that same money. So I always say that it's not about saving money, it's about getting value for the money you are paying. You can as well just use that money and get trained on what to do, and you get that knowledge forever, and it changes the way you interact. You may not have opportunity to travel to 13 countries like I have done, but you have the singular opportunity that any other person does not have, to learn from all the knowledge I have gathered in this experience. Let me ask you a question. The agent you are going to give your money to help you get admission, how many countries have that agent been to? I'm not an agent, I'm an educational consultant, right? But the question you have to ask yourself, has that agent even left his or her country to the next country? Does the agent know what is obtainable? I have studied in Nigeria, which is an African country, a typical African country. I've studied abroad. I've traveled abroad for different things. So I'm not saying what I Googled online. I'm talking from experience. There's this guy I love so much, Steve Harvey. You know, he was having a show with this guy, with another influencer, who told him that, oh yeah, people can Google this, Google that, Google. And Steve said, you know what? These days, internet is there and people can Google everything. But one thing they cannot Google is experience. Right? You can Google everything, but you won't Google people's experience. People's experience are unique to them, and you have to hear it from them. So if you're a graduate and you're from African country or any other country that has a culture that are similar to that of African nation, and you're thinking of going abroad to study, I want to bring you good news and bad news. Which one do you want first? The good or the bad news? Choose one. Which one do you want first? The good or the bad news? Choose one. Okay, let me bring you the bad news first. The bad news is that you are going to be experiencing a cultural mismatch that can have a huge disadvantage on your success rates, right, in this study abroad journey. Now, that's the bad news. Let me tell you the good news, right? The good news is that you no longer have to cry all over the world looking for how to message somebody abroad, let them answer you, right? No, you don't. I did that, and I know the percentage of people that reply to my emails or that reply to my Facebook chat, Instagram chat, because I was contacting people that were abroad. I know the percentage of people that reply to my LinkedIn inboxing when I wanted to go abroad, right? You message Truly, nobody abroad has time, because the time is paid for. Somebody is at work right now getting their dollars per hour, right? So you can't blame them. They have bills to pay, right? That was why after I looked at all these things, I was like, you know what? This thing is not going to work if I'm just doing it part-time. Because when I come back from work, I am so tired, I can't even reply to your messages. What did I do? I decided to do something different. I decided to start a company that will focus on helping students that want to go abroad. It's actually a social enterprise, right? Because we are helping people, even though we don't help them for free, we help them for a fee, right? To keep it sustainable. That is the best thing you can do. If you want free things don't last. If you want free thing, I will just do this video and go away. You never hear from me again. That's how free things are. So I just want you to know that the good news is that you now have an option. And if you are watching this and you're wondering, okay, so what do I do next, Linda? Okay, there are a couple of things you can do. One is get in touch with us, but also start by attending our free webinar, which is a detailed webinar on how to get admission and scholarship abroad, right? So it will tell you exactly how to get started. And you can do this if you're on Instagram. You can get in contact with our page at Dr. Linda Iheme, which is DRLIND NDAIHEME, Dr. Linda Iheme, at Dr. Linda Iheme. If you're on Facebook, check us out, Dr. Linda Iheme, right? Check out our page. If you are a YouTube person, I advise you to watch all our YouTube videos, because we've answered so many useful questions and you get them for free, those ones, right? Our YouTube is so rich. Visit our YouTube or watch if you're already on our YouTube, watch all our videos on YouTube. You can go to Dr. Linda Iheme TV. That's the name of our channel, right? So you can check us out in all these places. And if you still think that there is need for you to reach out to us, you can message us on any of these platforms, especially Instagram and Facebook, or you can just send us an email. It's that simple. My email address is drlinda@vantagemigration.ca. Vantage Migration is our company, so I'm just going to spell it for you. That's Dr. LINDA Linda at Vantage VANTAGE migration migration.ca. So Dr. Linda at vantagemigration.ca. You can email us, you can inbox us, you can do everything. Never ever feel like you are all alone, you don't know what to do, you are so confused, blah 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 blah. When all you can just do is what? Attend our info session, reach out to us. Even if you didn't get all these details, reach out to us and we're going to be able to point you in the right direction. The cultural mismatch is real, but trust me, you have an advantage that somebody who haven't seen this video today does not have. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to say bye till I see you next time.